those stories were true.
Forget social anxiety and imposter syndrome. You're embroiled in events well beyond your control.
It hadn't always been like this.
Who'd have thought, huh? We fucking did it. We made a video game.
Alright.
Cole, I'm not saying you have to forgive him, but it does sound like he cares for your mental well-being.
But I know, I get it. I'm not blind, and he's not either. Shit's like that sometimes.
But if I had cash, I'd literally throw it at you.
You have to move on, Cole.
Hello there. So, I guess welcome to the first Road to Nowhere behind the scenes live stream on Steam. Thought I'd create this impromptu stream because of the Steam Autumn Festival, and you know, a lot of people are interested in how a game like this is made, especially being a kind of live action in a sense. So yeah, let's get to it. So, let me just add some background music here. So, the game is made in Unity. I first started using Unity about 2 years ago, made a little prototype adventure game. Actually, I remade the start to Police Quest 4, amusingly. I could find a screenshot of it, but it was a good start to prototyping an adventure game for me personally within Unity, and to figure out its its mechanics and the way that you integrate components, graphical audio, and 3D shaders, which was a big element of why I wanted to use Unity in the first place. Back in the day, I used Adventure Game Studio, and I tried Visionaire. Adventure Game Studio I loved, has a great community, but back in the day there were a few issues with it that I actually started to create a game, actually got 3/4 of the way through it, but some technical issues, sorry about my cat there, there's some technical issues regarding audio stuttering, and there's a few others I can't remember now, but oh yeah, and back then I wasn't creating my own assets in the sense of live action. I had found a Melbourne, Australia asset store that did characters on a green screen with the transparencies taken out already, and I used a lot of those paid assets to make the game. And unfortunately, the website the business went defunct like 3/4 of the way into development, so couldn't finish it. I'd have to somehow use the assets that I have, and if I wanted to create new ones, I'd have to buy a lot of equipment. And at that time, didn't have the money. So, anyway, let's continue. So, for this game, I originally started off in Unity 2017 using a framework made by Dave Lloyd from Powerhoof fame, who did a game called Crawl, and he's done a lot of adventure games on indie game jams on Game Jolt. He's pretty much won every single one, which is pretty amazing. Let me just bring this up here, and I'll show you what it is. So if we go to here, where are we? And yeah. So let me have a look. There, Power Quest is what it's called. He's made it open source in a sense under the MIT license. And it kind of has the same kind of workflow as Adventure Game Studio. It is still very code orientated, so there's no visual scripting or anything like that. If you're really interested in it, I would recommend going to powerhoof.com and checking it out. It's really great. It's also on itch, so if I just do here and go Power Quest, let's have a look. There we go. It's also on itch. So it's here as well. So yes, I recommend using it. Powerhoof.itch.io/PowerQuest if you're interested in making adventure games in Unity, not using Adventure Creator. Don't get me wrong, I love Adventure Creator. But yes, it's built specifically for 2D sprite-based point-and-click adventure games. So no 2.5D or 3D games. It has a specific narrow focus on a specific type of game, which is good. And a lot of the functions he's put in, speech and voice support, automatic save and restore system. It has its own sprite animation system. It's actually a lot easier to use by default than Unity's default animation system. Yeah, it's very old school in the way that it's created, and I've had a lot of fun learning it, and can't thank Dave Lloyd enough for helping me along the way, because it's been quite the learning experience with Unity and PowerQuest over the past 12 months. So, now first of all, I would say a lot of people would be interested in the visual aspect of the game. So just give me a second here. Yeah. So let me just bring up After Effects. Now I'll bring up a different project if it wants to work on me. Oh, I think it's crashed. It has. Just give me a second. I'll fix this up. Yeah, I am using the After Effects beta version because it has some functionality in there that I love. Mostly the RotoBrush 2 tool, which helps with removing actors from backgrounds, especially if I get footage from people around the world who don't have an appropriate green screen. It's using this new AI technology that works very well indeed. So let me just check that you can see the screen. You can. All right, now let's try and find something here. So all of my footage is actually filmed in my garage. Now I'll show you some raw footage here. Let's have a look, shall we? I'm gonna find the directory. Where are we? Let's have a look. So many directories. Green. Here we go. So I'll bring up something. So we've got David being drunk. I'm just gonna find the appropriate footage. Okay. So give me a sec. I'll add this so you can see. Where are we? Source. Yeah. So I bring it down so you can see. So here, this is filmed in my garage. I set up a green screen. You can even see that I have a painted treadmill, which cost me a fortune to make. It's not the treadmill that was the most of the money. It was actually the chroma key paint, which costs, once you get all the different the paints and everything, it cost me like around 500 Australian dollars. And I spent a lot of my own money on this free game. So as you can see, let's play it. Where are we? So as you can see here, he's actually not right in the scene, and I probably tell him to move. There we go. Right. So that's an example. It's not the best example. Let me see if I can find a better one. Here we go. Let's try this one. So yes, we have this. I'll even enable the audio so you can hear. Here we go.
Match that. Yeah. So, alright, so we start out and
Let's have a look. Reminds me of cocaine.
Okay. So I think after that we've got something like
But yeah, as you can see, we're filming all this. You can have him looking around, yeah. Okay, so let's now try and find that specific footage, shall we? Now I'm going to load up an After Effects project. So go to my project directory, which is over 1 terabyte in size at this point. Go to house party locations and Dave Drunk. No. Alright. Here's a different way we'll go about it. Let's create a new composition. Right. So here we are here with some blank footage, and I will grab that specific footage. As you can see, it's very large at the moment, so we'll bring it down. So we'll move it up a bit, and I just essentially use the basic keying plugin on in After Effects. So for Windows, oops, wrong one. Windows, Effects and Presets. Key light, which is what it's called. Put it in here. Bingo, and then we just adjust. So, you know, we're gonna clip roll black. There we go. Oh. It's probably a bit too much. So what we'll do, there we go. And then I would, where's that screen? Yeah, I can fix it up a bit there, and then we can get rid of as much as we can with the deposit white. And as you can see, voila. And then what I would do for the top bit here, so I would then mask out this. Give me a sec, I just have to change it. And then we have David. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's bring it down a bit so you can see. Yeah. But yeah, and that's the basis of getting a character into the game, and then I would apply like a post-processing filter over the top called Topaz Clean to give it that weird kind of real but not real look. It just kind of gives it a, you know, this kind of cartoony-esque look, maybe is the best way to describe it. Kind of like a faux rotoscoping effect. So that's how that's done. Now, I create every scene of Road to Nowhere within After Effects, the whole scene, and then I export everything out into the game. So let me see if I can find a scene for you. Let's say house party location. Perfect. I'm going. Ooh, let's find a. Let's see. Might be a plugin missing. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, it's missing some. Ooh. Let's see if I can find that. Let's just try a different one. I don't have time to find out the scenes. Maybe the balcony. Let's see. Hopefully this one's here. Looks good. It's a very big. Alright, so we just see David here. This is the start of the party scene, which is not in the demo, by the way. At the point, right, boom, boom. You see different scenes. Let's bring. There we go. Add that. Let's see. And I got different files here, which are different animations. And like there's a whole bunch here. Let's see. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. And see how everything is kind of being added in slowly. And you can see there, there we go. So each object is separated, and you can see I can move, and you'll see people moving back and forth. They'll disappear because I only ever render out a certain few frames. And then when I render out like this as sprites within the game, not full motion video, I do it at 15 frames per second. Why? Because if I rendered out everything at 30 frames per second, the game would be huge, and the memory requirements, especially on the video card with such large assets and being like animations with 300 frames of animation, it's just too large. I remember trying it with the psychologist scene. Let's see if I can bring that up. Where are we? Okay. So we got psychologist. Psychologist. Alright. So let's load up this one. So you see these animations here of me being all miserable. If I rendered I actually tried rendering these out as is, and you can see that they're quite large. And the game runs at 1920 by 1080p. The scene of the room actually ballooned to 2 gigabytes, which is ridiculous. So I ended up rendering these out as a video with a transparent background. WebM specifically, because it's compatible with all platforms, Linux, Windows, and Mac. And then I would, so they were the videos on top of the actual rendered backgrounds. So if I see if I can find one. Let's have a look. I think it's probably all the way down the bottom. Here we go. So these backgrounds that you can see, I just chose 15 frames, and then I just looped them, tried to find the best, and it kept the size of the game down. So for specifically the psychologist scene, video on top of backgrounds, and then over the top within Unity, I added real-time shaders, make it all dreamy, a bit of bloom here, that type of thing. So yes, so there is that. Now, if I just fix this here, so that's how I do the 3D stuff usually. As you can see, it's all done in After Effects, then exported out as PNGs if I want to make actual animation or sprite animations within the game, and export to WebM for transparent videos, which happen occasionally, not all the time. A lot of the in-game is also just normal video, all rendered out as WebM as well at 60 frames per second, at really high quality, because I want to at least keep it high quality. So the game so far is coming down to 2.3 gigabytes. So there's this other part. Now I must commend Scott Buckley, who releases he's an Australian composer living in Sweden, I think it is, and he releases his music as Creative Commons. And for all the musical tracks that you hear in the background, all the credit goes to him. I was considering writing the music myself, as I studied music at university, but yeah, I would just go down a rabbit hole and it would be terrible, and I would never actually finish the game and just spend 6 months writing music. So I will show you his website if it decides to load. Righty. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll bring this up on the stream so you can see. and I will show you. So his music is all Creative Commons. Anybody can use it. He does have a Patreon, and if you subscribe to his Patreon, you get the high quality versions of the music in 24-bit audio, 48 kilohertz in WAV form, rather than MP3, which is much better when you're doing game development. Because realistically, if you need to cut up the audio, like I do all the music in 16-bar chunks. So I'll grab a song that I really like, and I'll then do it in chunks. Well, if you're really interested in this guy's music, or you're looking for music for your own games, if you're a game developer out there, check out scottbuckley.com.au. Now I'll show you what I do with the music. Just loading up the application here. Let's see if I can find one. Let me just put that there. Let me bring up the screen for you so you can see it. Let's see, new source. Yeah, let me just do this so you can see. So yeah. Alright, let's see if I can find a project where I have done the music. So I cut everything up because I want the music to be. Yeah, can you hear me? Just give me a sec. No, actually, I am going to cancel that because. Alright, I'm going to not do that, unfortunately, because the door is playing up with the microphone. Didn't think of that. But what I do essentially is I make up separate audio loops. Now I'll bring up Unity, and I'll show you. So this is the title bit of the Unity title menu of the game in Unity. So if I go here, up here in the assets, and you'll see music. Now all these are different variations of one song in different things. Now if I go to inspect all, let's see if you hear this. So this is music you hear at the start of the game, right in the introduction. And it's just kind of, it's kind of like an introduction kind of thing. If I go back to project, this is another theme of that same one. Same song, but just a different section of it. Let's see if it loops. Very synthwave, as you know. So yeah, just this bit just loops over and over and over again. There, that's where it loops. And then of course we have other variations, like this one. You can hear the other synth going on in the background, that bright kind of bell, bell, bell. It's your chord change. Back to the start. So yeah, that way, so if like a player chooses like a specific part, like, you know, a different option, or it changes mood or something, I can just change it on the fly. So in Dave Lloyd's engine PowerQuest, he's created a system where you can, as long as each music track is the same length, you can crossfade between them. So what I would recommend you do is actually find 8 or 16-bar chunks where the chord progression is the same, or it's in versions of the same, like harmonically it can work with each other. And you know, make sure that the volumes and stuff are good, and and you can make a totally interactive music system, kind of like iMuse on LucasArts games like Monkey Island and Indiana Jones and The Fate of Atlantis and things like that. Now, that's that section. Speech and music is pretty straightforward. Each dialogue of line has a number associated with it. So, for example, like there could be a line of some dialogue of Cole in a certain room, and you put all the dialogue in the game as code, and then there's a tool in there where you click a button and it'll associate each line of dialogue with the character and a number. So for example, you could be on the 40-second line of dialogue with Cole at whatever scene, and it would be the file name has to be called Cole42 dot whatever wav, and give me a sec to stop this music, and the game automatically picks it up. Well, the engine automatically picks it up. So in audio, we go not music, resources. Here we are, voices. And as you can see, all these files got to Cole. Let's see, what is it up to at the moment? Cole 298. And it's just every line of dialogue, voice acting of Cole. You can assign that to a mixer, a Unity mixer. Well, that's actually, can't do it with the speech, but you can do it with the music and sound effects. Future releases of PowerQuest, according to Dave, will be able to do something similar, as he wants to also do it in his game. There's that. Now, if you're curious about actual rooms, so let's choose a room a bit more exciting, shall we? So let's show you something that isn't in the demo. So we'll go here. So this is the start of the party scene, which isn't in the game, well, in the demo. And as you can see, there's me as Cole, Dave as Mike, together in the same room. Now, when you play the game, that's not how it views. They're there, but they're assigned if they're visible or hidden, and they execute accordingly. Now, with PowerQuest, you can... Give me a sec, I gotta push this over. No, there we go. I'll make it bigger. Yeah. Dave's made a sort of scripting language in PowerQuest, but that doesn't stop you from using normal C#, like here, where I've assigned booleans and variables and assigned shaders to specific components and stuff, and like enter room. Here it shows what quality level the game's running at, so low, medium, high, and it adjusts the shader quality accordingly. And then after fade, and then it also, plays a video, which is this line of code here. It's a lot of other things here. Actually, that's not the actual right code. Give me a sec. Let me bring that up. There we go. So on into room. So yeah, it locks the mouse, which isn't valid anymore. So I'm going to remove that, or just put a comment on there. Changes, removes, makes the camera not restricted. Sets a zoom position. Here it sets where Mike needs to be. Here it says Mike walking, so it's saying when you depending if Mike needs to walk up the stairs, it will show Mike walking up the stairs and then hide the call animation. So here, with the shaders enabled, come on, there we go. As you can see, that's what it looks like. So if I play that, let's have a look. Let's give it a sec, it's compiling. Just taking its time. really taking its time. I hope it hasn't crashed. Very interesting. Yeah, I think it's crashed. No, there we go. Took longer than it normally usually does. Here we go. So here you are. Walking up the stairs, and this is the bathroom scene. Now I walk up the stairs, and now it loads the party back deck scene. And here I am here. It's got an introduction flag for when you first walk in the room to play this. As you can see. This room is still a work in progress, by the
Shiny
way.
cigarette case. Said she gave it to me, yet always insists I give it back when we fight.
Activating certain shaders depending on the animation. And now I've got full control. So I'll walk over here, and there is a kind of trigger point around here that will lift off another animation back in the bathroom, and you will now see David walk up the stairs and me not there. So let's do that.
Hey.
And there, see? There's David. And I'm not in that object, even though I'm just a prop, I'm not a character in that scene. Just because it's so static.
Buddy.
There we go. And
Cheers.
yeah. So at this point, working on this scene, I'm working on a
fucking
new
did it.
transition
You
shader when you
made
choose
a
choices. And
video
I'm
game.
trying to make it more drunk, where other ones would be pixelated or just
Alright.
blurred. This one is kind of blurry and very drunk, and you'll see it in a second.
Everything okay, man?
It's not complete, but it should work.
Yeah, just getting some not so fresh air.
Is Fiona up to her old tricks?
There it goes. A bit drunk. And I haven't done anything more here yet, so that's where I'm up to. But yes. This is, yeah. In Unity. Using Unity 2019, the latest LTS, I'm not going to change it. To be honest, you do that and you're in a world of hurt. You end up putting it in a newer version of Unity like the 2020 beta, and you'll spend months trying to figure out everything that Unity had broken in your code because they've changed everything. Don't get me wrong, I really would like to use Unity 2020, but yeah, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. So let's have a look. Just give me a second. So yes, that is the Unity side. Now, the game is going to be released on Windows, Mac and Linux. I've made sure that everything works together. I didn't choose any weird libraries that are only Windows specific or, or Mac specific. Like there are certain video players for Unity that I was considering just because less resources and a wider variety of codecs I could use rather than WebM and stuff like that. Like for example, I really would have loved to use, well, it's kind of WebM, but VP9, higher quality video, lower video file size, and generally better all round. But unfortunately, Unity doesn't support it out of the box. Maybe it does in newer versions, I haven't checked. But yeah, I was thinking of using it, but for the sake of portability and wanting a wide variety of players to try this game no matter what platform they're on, computer-wise at the moment anyway. Maybe down the track, consoles, see how it goes. Depends if Sony and all those would accept me. But I'm not really sure, to be honest. Yeah, but so on all platforms, tested properly, for as many people as they want to play it. I've also made sure that the system requirements are fairly low. I've been optimizing it as I go along, so You can run on 2 gigs of RAM if need be. If you have put the high quality shaders on, it's a bit more demanding on the graphics card. But you should still be able to play it fine at 60 frames per second, or even on a good Intel HD integrated chip, or like, you know, even a lower end NVIDIA or AMD GPU, it should be fine. Mac users, it was a bit more difficult. I used my wife's MacBook Pro to test this game. It's only 2 years old, but I'm not sure, even though it has an Intel, like, I don't know, I think it's an Intel HD integrated chip on that machine. Playing the game, even on medium, brought it to a crawl. So if any Mac users out there would love to test my game or get to me, please do. You can do it at Twitter at D15bit, or you can at 15bit games at 15bit games on Twitter, or you can go to our website and send me an email or message me through the Steam community forum, or wherever, however you like to do it. It's pretty easy to find me, and I would love that. I would love the help for testing on different platforms. Linux, yeah, definitely, especially if you're on something that's not just SteamOS and, like, you know, more obscure Linux operating systems like Gentoo and stuff like that, or maybe even BSD. Let's see if we can get running under BSD. That would be amusing too. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. It's in Unity. So far I'm about just over halfway through the game. It's taken a lot longer than expected. I've been learning Unity as I go along. It's very powerful, very daunting, unfortunately, but I've been enjoying every little minute of it, and I've got a lot of help from a lot of people, Dave Lloyd being one of them, and community's great. Met a lot of good other game developers who also use Unity and stuff. For our next game that's coming out, Dark Code, I won't be using Power Quest. I'll be using Adventure Creator, just for ease of use, to get the game out quicker. So more visual scripting than C# all the way through and through. And yeah, so if you want to get in contact with us, you can at 15bit games, or me at D15bit, if you'd like to help us out, or you think you have a skill that you'd like to contribute. That would be great. We don't have a lot of money, unfortunately. It is a free project. It's kind of a labor of love, but if your work's really good or could really use it, then definitely I would be happy to pay for your services. If, like, you're really good at, like, UI stuff, or you're good at you know, some visual effects stuff, or 3D, because we can always get some, like, 3D objects and stuff in the game as well. Because everything at this point in time is just me doing all the visuals, all in After Effects, Photoshop. Learning After Effects has been also an enjoyable experience, and I thought initially doing like a full motion video game would make it a little easier, because, you know, I don't know how to draw. No, it's just as hard. It really is. Or like doing compositing and, you know, just trying to make everything look nice, and like even the backgrounds and stuff, it was just like I'd find creative commons source images of like location shots, and then I'd modify them heavily for within the game, as you can see. Like, for example, I go to this diner, like Olympia Diner does actually exist, and yeah, but as you can see, it's all dreamy and stuff, very Lynchian, or as somebody said in a review, it's very sweary from Deadly Premonition, which, you know, I take that as a compliment because I love that game. But yeah, I know it's just a little insight into this game, and as you can see, there's different rooms. It's a labor of love, and I would like to thank David and Danny for being part of the journey to make this game, and hopefully we make more games in the future. And remember, this game is going to be released for free. Well, my other workmates are trying to you know, we should pay for it. I'm like, there might be a paid version down the track with extra stuff like director's commentary and, you know, little extra features, maybe the soundtrack as well. But yeah, I'd like to thank Scott Buckley, Playhurts for their music for the party scene, and that'll be heavily featured very soon. Thanks the guys for posting that a while back. I'm really looking forward to integrating your music more into this upcoming scene, which I've kind of been putting off for a while, thanks to good old Coco, I'll call that, you know, the pandemic. it's kind of slowed the game down a bit, especially on the filming side of things, because we're all quarantined and I can't do it, especially in Melbourne where I am. It's just full lockdown. So hopefully that eases up and, you know, we can push forward much quicker, especially if I need to get new assets, which I probably will. Anyway, I would like to thank you all. I don't know if anybody's watching, but you can watch this on YouTube if you're very curious down the track. And yeah, thank you very much. And have a good evening. And I will sign you off with a message from a very famous FMV actor named Rupert Booth, and we're currently going to develop a short game based around the quarantine. Hopefully by the end of the year, maybe early next year. We'll see how it all goes. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.
Greetings! If you can't already tell, I am the interminable Rupert Booth, star of FMV Games Contradiction and The Shape-Shifting Detective and a few others that are yet to be released. The excitement. Yeah, earlier on in the year, I teamed up with my friend, the excellent director, Craig Griffith, who has a YouTube channel called TerraTube. And what we decided to do, it was his idea, was to get our heads together and write and make an FMV game shot entirely in lockdown. So we shot that earlier in the year, all the actors in isolation, very strange experience, interesting. And I suppose what I'm doing here is sort of formally announcing that the lovely guys from 15-Bit Games have come on board to do all the back end and put all the game together and all that sort of thing, because they're clever at that, and we're not. So yeah, it's and it's really nice to be working with them. It's a very good fit for both sides, really. We were all on the same wavelength, and our skill sets all complement each other as well. So yeah, that's really quite exciting. And they agreed to donate half of their production costs to charity. So that kind of proves that they're actually really good eggs, doesn't it? They're not eggs. Eggs couldn't make a game. Couldn't work with an egg. Anyway, thanks for the support. Thanks for always being there. And here's a trailer.